Gotta have that bounce when you get your theme music going. What's up, y'all? I am a little teensy weensy, itsy bitsy, tiny bit late again. I know I suck, y'all. Um, what's going on, everybody? I'm glad to see you here. Let me see who's here. Bye-bye, Backish. Okay, Win Grace. What's happening? What's going on, Justin? And I don't know who else is in here, but we got a few people in here. So what's up with y'all too? We are today going to talk about Star Trek Discovery's 5th episode. We are midway through the final season of Star Trek Discovery, and we will be talking about mirrors. And we learned some things in mirrors, didn't we? We learned some things. And most of the time I present to, hey, Bun. Most of the time hey, March. I present a whole bunch of photos and all of this. Hey, Dreamwalker, your work starts a little later than usual, so you made it, huh? You enjoyed this new episode. I am so glad that you liked it. There's a lot to talk about, right? But like I was saying, I usually come on here with pictures and all that stuff, but I want to celebrate my Discord. And if you didn't know, now you know. There is a Discord. I think I put the link in the description. I'm not 100% sure. I think I did, though. So if you see a Linktree in the description, that is where you'll be able to find the Discord. I'm inviting you to just join it. It doesn't cost anything. Just join the Discord and join the conversations. Because my Discord is the absolute best. So I want to celebrate my Discord because there was so much that we got right, y'all. There was so much. Now, we've been talking ish since the beginning of the season, since prior to the beginning of the season, about what or who we think Locke is, what's going on with Maul and Locke, where are we going with this season? And things are starting to shape up really, really well as far as the season goes, and as far as some of the things that we thought. Now, I know Win Grace just said bye-bye Backish, so I'm going to go over to trekmovie.com, see if they've got anything yet. Because we also talked about in the Discord whether or not, or that there has been a loss of faith by the shareholders at Paramount Global in Bob Backish, who has been, was he CEO? What is Bob Backish's job title? I'm just gonna look his name up real quick. President of Paramount Global. So Wingray said it has been made official on the call about an hour or two ago. So he gone. He left. He stepped on down. I guess he said, before they step down for me, let me get on up out of here. Exit stage left. Let me see. So Paramount Global oust Chief Bob Backish as the future of the media conglomerate hangs in the balance. This is coming to us from CNN Business. I'm gonna share that with y'all because this is something we do need to talk about before we get into this very stellar episode. I feel like, well, I felt like it was a stellar episode, but then the more I read the comments in the Discord, the more I felt like I got some stuff that I could really complain about just a little bit with this episode. And we'll get into that. Okay, so Bob Backish. Nope, I don't want that. I don't want that. Paramount Global on Monday parted ways with its chief executive, Bob Backish, in a seismic move that sent reverberations through the media conglomerate as it actively engages in acquisition talks with Skydance Media. If you guys don't remember, we talked about this when we were trying to raise up some money so we could buy Paramount Global. We came up a little short, y'all. We came up a little short. But Skydance Media was the entity that I kind of was leaning towards. So like, if I want to see this happen, I would like for Skydance to be who acquires them. And we all had our own different thoughts. So, anywho, in place of Backish, who led the company since controlling shareholder Sherry Redstone reunited Viacom and CBS Corp under one roof back in 2019. So in place of Backish will be a triumvirate of leaders, including Brian Robbins, chief executive of Paramount Pictures, Chris McCarthy, chief executive of Showtime and MTV, and George Cheeks, chief exec of CBS. So the board and I thank Bob for his many contributions over his long career, including in the formation of the combined company, as well as his successful efforts to rebuild the great culture Paramount has long been known for. We wish him all the best. Redstone. Can you hear me now? I hope y'all can hear me now. I technically do not know. Can y'all hear me now? Let me check my settings. Audio. Let's see. Test. Yeah, I think it's looking like it's working now. Okay, so you guys can hear me. Great. Thank you. So the relationship between Redstone and Backish had become frosty in recent months. People familiar with the matter told CNN. Redstone and other board members took issue with Backish's strategic decisions, including not offloading the premium cable channel Showtime and striking a deal to sell BET. So he did neither one of those things, and they like, we don't trust you anymore, guy. I'm not going to read the entire article. You guys see that you can pick that up on CNN.com or anywhere that they report these types of business movings. But Bob Backish is gone. I hope that's what they wanted, and I hope it works out the way they wanted it to. Let me see what Wingray says. Thank you for all your contributions, but we're going to need you to get all the way up out of here. Just pack your shit. Clean your desk and get out. We don't care where you go, just get out of here. um, so now I guess I better let me go to my slides and see where we at here. Got to share my slides with you. Did I not do it? Let's see. Continue. Allow. Momentarily, you guys will probably be seeing the slides. So yay. Yay. Okay. So let's just talk about really quick the plot points and all of this stuff. And make sure you're following me on the social medias. Make sure that you have liked this video so that this word gets out that we're having these conversations. And if you've not yet done so, please subscribe to my channel. And I am inviting you, I'm rolling out the red carpet for new subscribers. So if you've not yet done so, you can do that as well. So let's talk about some plot points really quick. Hey, Clarence said he's stopping by to say hello. Hello. Are you home now, Clarence? Or are you going on tonight? Make sure you let me know if you guys are going on tonight. If before I start reading my notes, Clarence has a live stream that he does on Monday nights as well. His Monday night stream starts at 8 p.m. Central. It's on Discussing Trek, and they'll be discussing this same episode if they're going on tonight. I know Clarence had been jet setting, so we want to make sure that the show is still going on. But anywho, the crew has still been trying to track Maul and Locke, who went through a wormhole after obtaining a piece of the map to the progenitors' tech. Michael and Book went through the wormhole, boo, and what do they find? The ISS Enterprise from the Mirror Universe. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Look at the things that you'll find in a wormhole. It's revealed that Locke is actually a blank, because I'm not going to say it right away, but you guys, if you've seen the thumbnail, you pretty much know what Locke is. As a matter of fact, let's show the thumbnail. We'll show the thumbnail for a second before we move on, because I don't want to give it all away. But anywho, Breen, Locke and Maul have had a romantic relationship with one another since the burn. So this is not something new. They've been together for pretty much as long as Michael and Book have been together. So pretty solid relationship. When you start getting into the 2-3 year era, because what the burn was in 2089 is this set. I mean, I'm sorry. The burn was set in 3089, right? And this is where is it? 3189, and this is 3191. Yeah, so it was 3189 that the burn was set in, and now currently we are in 3191. So they've been together for 2 years. A lot of people start talking marriage. So this is a serious relationship for 2 years. We also learn a little bit more about the Breen. Maul and Locke refuse to cooperate with Michael and Book as they are being hunted by the Breen for an Eriga bounty. And then the Discovery crew figured out how to extract the Enterprise before the wormhole collapses. We got some character development from Maul and Locke, especially. This was their show. This one was the one that mostly gave us all of the back information that we need to know who Maul and Locke are, and basically to give us a little bit more about their personalities from their prior, their past. We saw a little bit of their past, so that we got a little bit more of an understanding of who we're dealing with. But we learned a whole lot more in this episode. Let me see. Now, where are we? Where are we? Where are we? I'm gonna go to the slide that I'm not gonna be able to read until I make it bigger. So, um, let's see. Okay, so Clarence posted that Discussing Trek will not air tonight. It is going to be rescheduled to Wednesday. So Wednesday we can hang out with Clarence for Discussing Trek. Great. Dreamwalker says, I'm fairly confident next episode they're going to provide some context as to why the artifact was counted as a third life form. I truly expect to see that myself. When Grace is saying he hopes that is the case as well. I wouldn't be shocked or surprised if the third piece of the puzzle is a changeling. I'm not gonna, I'm not going on record with that one just yet. But would it not make a little bit of sense if we find out that this third organic piece of the puzzle is something like that? We shall see. And Marge said, I think the Locke and Maul relationship is the great love story of Trek after Michael and Book. They definitely, of course, it doesn't surprise me that they are a couple. You can tell that they were a couple. How they got together does make for one of those love stories of old that you see, where two people, Romeo and Juliet, the Hatfields and McCoys, all of these people who are not supposed to be together, not necessarily supposed to get along. You see them not only getting along, you see them, Claire says, some of those beats confuse the heck out of me. And that is what I mean by the more I talk about this episode, the less I'm like, it was a stellar episode. Because I'm like, it's one thing for a plot point to completely escape me. I'm not the brightest person in the world all the time. I do my best, but not all the time. But when we all get together the way we do and exchange ideas, and multiple of us are missing what point was being made, I'm like, okay, that had to be some poor writing in that spot. And this is not to say the entire episode was poorly crafted or poorly thought out. This is to say that some of the plot points that they accelerated in this episode did not reach us. And it's obvious that it didn't reach us because many of us have the exact same questions, or I guess they meant this, or I think maybe they meant that. Somebody is supposed to know what the hell they meant when they showed certain things. So that is what brings this down a few notches for me, from the stellar category. Wingray says it would need to be. I got to turn this light down. It's like it would need to be a different dawn of changeling, proto, or pure, since we saw a changeling last season and they know their life forms. Oh, yeah, that's true. We did see one last season. I forgot about that. It's been so freaking long since last season. But anywho, Marge is saying that she had to watch the episode multiple times. And that is what made me even come at it from the angle that I'm coming at it, because Marge, Grace, I think Dreamwalker, myself, Clarence, all of us are having questions surrounding certain aspects of this episode. And it's like, none of us got it. So if none of us got it, did it go over most people's heads, or are we just sitting in the slow class together on my Discord? Justin had to watch it a few times as well. And that's what makes me think, like, okay, did they explain, or did they tell the story as well as they thought they did? I guess is my my question. And I am going to I'm starting with one of our first days of chatting. So this was April 24th, the day that the episode came out. This was like our first day of chatting about this. And let me see, last week we had, let me see. I'm sorry, y'all. Go back. I can't go back. I can't go back to where I was. Dreamwalker only watched once. And BT Dubs. My vision is courtesy of Dreamwalker. I said it on a different live stream, but it was one that he hadn't been joining us. So again, I want to say thank you to Dreamwalker because he stepped above and beyond and really helped me out because I can see. So there's that. Now let me go back and try to find. Okay, here we are. So Dreamwalker said, mirrors allow you to see yourself as others see you. Now he said this prior to this episode airing, BT Dubs. Okay. Mirrors allow you to see yourself as others see you. So I'm going to guess this episode involves Locke being revealed as a Breen, but maybe not feeling entirely like the rest of the Breen. Do you see what I'm saying? This is the type of thinking that we give each one of these episodes. We give each one of these episodes this much thought. He actually figured out that Locke would be revealed as Breen. That was first and foremost. And then he also said, but he kind of won't identify as Breen. I thought we are just fantastic. And when Gray says, if this is the case, do you think he knows he is a Breen? We learned that yes, he does. He knows he's a Breen. Or will he hear it at the same time as the rest of us? He knew he was a Breen. He just knew that he was different from the rest of the Breen. And Dreamwalker said, yep, I'm pretty proud of that guess. Yeah, you really nailed that one. Marge says, also meets and sees her past angry self. So was that guessed too? I missed that. Sorry. So Dreamwalker says he's had some hits, but many misses too. But the thing is, ain't nobody batting 100. Nobody is batting 100. All of us are guessing. But just some of them guesses just hit the mark so much better than others. And those are the ones that we're going to talk about. Michael meets and sees her past angry self. Yep. Glad I can see my grandchildren. Yeah, I actually saw their faces like without being like right up in their face. It's such a, I appreciate you. I don't want to continue to, I don't know if it's embarrassing to you. I'm one of those people who get embarrassed if I talk about myself too much or if I get too much attention. So I'm not trying to do that to anybody else. Also, another thing that was part of our Discord. We saw Dreamwalker also say could also have a scene with Book and Maul for the Mirrors theme, which we got. But another aspect of Mirrors is we're mirroring. We had the Mirror Universe ship show up, so that's a mirror first, even though that's one of the places that I have a little bit of a problem. Hey, Thomas, good to see you. Glad you're here. So the Mirror Universe, and we had some little issues there. We had what else? The mirror between Book and Maul, the mirror between Book and Burnham and Maul and Locke, because these two couples are like the anti versions of each other. So yeah, those are the things. So those were some of the other mirror aspects that we got in this episode. Now Matt, I don't know what's going on with my mic today, y'all. I don't know. Ashton messes with things. He spins the chair around. The plug comes out of the mic. And have I lost it again? Let's see. Test, 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 test. It says it's reading. Okay, thank you, Marge. Thank you. I don't know. Now it's like we get one thing fixed and then something else messes up no matter what. And it ain't nobody but Ashton. He come over here, he spins the chair, the microphone falls, and then you have to plug it back in. And when you plug it back in, it's starting to come out. So yeah, Ashton be in here sabotage and stuff. But Marge asked the question in this same Discord chat. Might there be a possibility that Locke is a progenitor and or close descendant? That could be a factor in their search for the device. And thank you everybody for telling me that you can hear me. Thank you guys. That question, it has to, he has to be a descendant of the progenitors. They can shapeshift a little bit. I think so, because his original form and his little jelly looking form or whatever that is, he looks like the way the progenitor looked in Star Trek TNG in that episode The Chase, except he's a different color. And those progenitors look like the changelings. And I'm wondering if we're going to find out that all of them are closely related. And he's far more closely related to the changelings and the progenitors than the rest of us are. But I'm okay. I'm open to being wrong about that. But I thought that was an excellent question that Marge asked in the chat. Now, Alex, as far as answering that question, and when Grace just answered it for me in a way that we've already seen changelings in Star Trek Disco. So there's a potential, there's a possibility that because we've seen them all already, that these two things don't tie in. But yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Dreamwalker said, I'm intrigued by the Breen progenitor theory. It makes sense from the perspective of telling a season-long story. I probably never would have come up with it myself, though. Yeah, that's and thank you for chiming in with the great theory, because the thoughts that we put out when we're talking with each other, when we're chatting with each other, are usually spot on in one way, shape, or form. And if you put all of our theories together, we come up with a better theory. Because I've been walking around saying the Breen the whole time, but I just didn't know how we were going to get there. Dreamwalker comes up with the way that we get there, and he was spot on. Marge comes up with a way that we can bridge the Breen to the progenitors. And I think even though, there are questions still, of course, the next episode we haven't gotten to yet, but I think that's solid. That's a solid theory that Locke is more closely related to those progenitors than humans and, the other humanoid races. So yeah, I enjoyed that. And then she wrote here, I withdraw my stupid question. And there are no stupid questions. You know that, Marge. The only stupid question is the one left unasked, as the kids used to say, or as teachers used to say to the kids. And then we saw Dreamwalker with some of his thoughts, his quick thoughts on the episode. So the day the episode came out, we do mark spoilers in our Discord. Nobody is just sitting there and spoiling anything. We mark the spoilers, but these were Dreamwalker's thoughts. He says, of course, mirrors involve the mirror universe, but I'm glad they remembered their continuity, that the mirror universe has been too far to travel for the prime universe for centuries. This was a good way of including some part of the mirror universe. Let me open that up a little bit more. Slide it over here. I still got to make it a little bit bigger. Of course, number two, his second thought was he was spot on with Locke. He was Breen and didn't like what people would think of him from seeing his Breen face, as he didn't feel like the rest of the Breen. And then number three, the two couples on the Enterprise also formed a nice mirror aspect to the episode. Number four, he's really sold on Maul and Locke's bond, that was fantastic. The way that they fleshed that out, it was fantastic, because again, we know more about Maul and Locke than probably any secondary character that we've ever faced in Star Trek Discovery. And I mean, just a secondary character. We're only halfway through the season. We still have 5 episodes left, and we know who we're dealing with, and we know what we're looking for. So they were listening to the feedback. Unfortunately, the feedback came at the end of the run, where they enacted some of the things that we would complain about as fans. So no matter how they enacted these changes in the way that they're telling their story, and it has been paying off. Book's line number 5, that's a choice. I hope you'll make a different one, is such a good quote. Dreamwalker said he wants to use that quote sometime. So now I'm going to jump right up here. Solid theory, good pun. Didn't even try. Dreamwalker says the only time a lot of voices together doesn't work is all of the executive producers on Picard season 2. But see, I also read a lot about why things got wonky in Picard season 2. I'm still defending Picard because I think they were onto something, an idea, with the way they approached it the first 2 seasons. And then the third season, they were just like, F it, let's just go to nostalgia. But the first 2 seasons, they were trying to tell something different. And then they switched the showrunner to Matalis. And then Matalis said, oh, right in the middle of everything, they wanted us to start working on Picard right in the the third season of Picard, right in the middle of the second season of Picard. And there were too many different ideas being thrown about, and it all changed. Too many hands in it. Too many, what did they say? Too many cooks spoiled the broth, and that broth was spoiled. Claire says, it's great these outcomes have been stuff that we could actually theorize. Exactly. Because that's something that we've complained about. I don't know if it's a loud complaint, but it's like, you can't even guess what's going to happen because they take shit so far out. And sometimes that's a good story, and sometimes it's like y'all led us down a bunch of rabbit holes for no apparent reason. You could have just told a story from a blank slate without throwing all of these connections to other Star Trek things in there, because now you just got a convoluted mess. So yeah, I felt like that, especially particularly about the burn that we don't speak of around these parts. But for the most part, yeah, they've had some interesting ways of getting from A to B with their plots. But this season, it seems like they are getting a little more grounded. And then by them being a little more grounded, it's still great storytelling, but we also have the idea of we could see where it was going. We ain't gonna probably we won't be able to guess the ending. I'm pretty sure. Until maybe if we see a few more episodes, we will. But I'm pretty sure we won't be able to guess the ending. But we know we are going the right way by the things that we're seeing on the screen, if I'm making sense. Reinhardt, hey there, Reinhardt. Reinhardt said, I was all about the Breen. It was a reveal I didn't even know I wanted. But I was all about everything else in that whole episode. He was all about that. He was all about the Breen, but everything else in that episode was kind of a blur. So now we got Reinhardt saying the same thing that the rest of us said in our Discord, which is there were things that could have been told a little bit differently. I'm going to go on and we'll talk about the rest of what was going on in our Discord. Okay, so when Grace says, I'm still confused by the third life sign. Is that supposed to be whatever is in that vial? And that's what I was thinking, that whatever is in that vial was the third life sign. But again, I ain't sure. This is what I think. And when Grace is like, I guess he thinks that too. And Marge is like, well, I kind of think that, but but it wasn't made clear. And that is the part of the storytelling that I think could have been refined a bit. It was never made clear what the hell they was talking about in that vial. Let's see. We'll go to the next. One of the things that was I thought well done in this episode, and I still think it was well done, was giving Raynor, making him a little more likable. Not that I disliked him, so I didn't feel I still haven't felt about Raynor what I felt about Shaw. I don't feel about Raynor what I felt about Vance. I like Raynor. Maybe it's because his bristly personality is an awful lot like mine, but I like Raynor, but I still like to see him being made into a more likable character for everybody else. And one of the things that I really liked was him boiling the cake for dinner, because I'm like, who does that? Who boils a cake? And it was the citrus mash that Marge brought up. Citrus mash for everyone. I'm like, that doesn't sound good. So the Kellerans, they have a very distinct way of culinary skills. They with their citrus mash and their boiled cakes. So yeah, I think that was funny. That was hilarious to me. When Grace says this season has been dropping a good quote or two every episode. Yes, I like that too. Marge is agreeing with Larry. She looks forward to understanding the Two-Face idea. Dreamwalker said, I enjoyed Picard still, and season 2 had, in his opinion, one of the best intro thematics to the episodes. And I didn't hate season 2. I didn't hate it as much as others. Put it like that. So many people really hated season 2. I liked season. I straight up liked season 1. Season 2 was, it was a bit going on. Yes. Justice says I ride with Star Trek Picard all 3 seasons, faults and all the warts. Give me the warts. Yep, give it all. Marge likes Rainer. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Rainer is like Jellicoe. I think Rainer is more likable than Jellicoe, though. Jellicoe came on board that ship on some complete BS. We've seen Rainer's more prickly side, and it's like he's like, I'm not changing my personality to fit this crew, even though we are starting to see him change his personality to fit the crew. But I can understand him coming in the way he did more than I could the way Jellicoe did. And maybe it's just because I just didn't like Jellicoe. I just didn't like him. So one of the questions that Marge asked in our chat is this is, well, wasn't questions, it was a statement. She said, I'm confused about the decoy clue or the puzzle piece, and I'm certain what Michael did with that locket. Locke says something about a decoy as well. That wasn't made 100% clear. I saw her messing with the locket, but I didn't, I don't know what that meant. I don't know what that freaking meant. Yeah, Marge, I agree with you. Rainer seems like he's willing to learn and, relax a little. So, yeah, Marge was asking if someone could clarify. None of us could particularly clarify. Also, who did the locket and the toy that Michael picked up belong to? Was it to the refugees? Was it to part of the crew that had to leave the ship in the escape pods? Where does the stuff? Where does it come in at? She watched it again. I did not. I'm looking and I'm seeing that most of us watched it more than once. Maybe I'll watch it again before Clarence does his stream on Wednesday, because I'm still not 100% clear. Wingrave says, I think it would have gone a long way to see Rainer interacting with his old crew, but budgets, right? Because I think the with this old crew, you would think that they had the luxury of having people who were also born during the burn, who understood that this the situation that they were in during the burn was a very trying one, and that nobody really has time for small talk because they are trying to survive in this post-burn era. And now the burn has been reversed, and you can, life has completely changed for these people who the only lifestyle they knew was what they lived during the burn. So yeah. Okay, Justice said he cuts Jellicoe a break. The novels did him more justice. You got to be into the novels, though. So if you're not into the novels, and the only thing that you have to base your whole understanding of Jellicoe on is that episode, I cannot imagine. And I've say these things, and then I find out that there is somebody out there who really feels the opposite of me. But I just can't imagine nobody saying, and that's a guy who I'd like to serve under. Grace has an answer. The locket was a trick. She put part of her uniform into it to trick them into thinking it was the clue because it had a prime universe quantum signature. I get it. But why would they believe that? If they have the real clue, why would they believe that even though it has a prime universe quantum signature, she's from the prime universe? So it's like, you could be just trying to trick me. I wouldn't believe it. If I got to the Enterprise, ISS Enterprise first, and I got what I consider to be the clue, I don't care what you got in that locket. It's not this. And if it turns out that you're right and I'm wrong, then we can fight over this this piece. But for the most part, I'm not fighting you or arguing with you over a piece when I know that I got a piece too with the same quantum signature that is from the prime universe. So I got a piece as well. And I'm not about to play with you, Michael, with no with whatever that is you got in that locket. Marge said Rayner likely had an excellent XO to deal with people, and that is a distinct possibility. He had a more and it was like kind of like the way I would operate as a GM. I'm not warm and fuzzy. I can be, and when I'm playing, but if it's like business at hand, I'm not warm and fuzzy. So you kind of try to get some warm and fuzzy people around you to make up for what you lack. And that's basically the way I always thought of it. If there are things that I'm not an organizer, so I don't have a place for everything and everything in its place. And for a long time, I'm like embarrassed by the fact that I don't have a place for everything in its place. Then I realized that that's a flaw. It's a flaw in my character, behavior, or whatever. And the way to fix that flaw is to get somebody and make sure that the person who is right under me is uh organized. You fill in my gaps. And I think that that's a good way to run a business, to run a starship, anything. If you have if you have a flaw, to find someone who doesn't have that flaw to fill in your gaps. Rayner said, the burn reversed and life changed. Sounds like 2022 when people are coming out from the worst of the pandemic on Earth. Yep. And just imagine being born in that situation. Imagine being the only thing you've ever known is people wearing masks, and you're you got a 2-year-old child who this is all they have ever experienced was the pandemic. That's normal to them. So now to tell these kids, okay, you don't have to wear this mask. Now it's weird to them. So yeah, I agree. Reinhardt said, Tasha, some people may not know, but you know how much I love Star Trek Online. That's why I'm so hyped to see the Star Trek Online bring content. Good. I don't know a lot about Star Trek Online. I would dig into it and do some research. So I don't really know how far they go into the Breen, excuse me, but I do know that many of you are into Star Trek Online and also in the beta canon stuff, and you have a different connection to these alien races, alien species. Wingray says, I think they were confused because they fell for the trick of the fake clue about Beta said. Oh, okay. Maybe that is. Because yeah, they've already wasted time during this mission. And somehow they still end up ahead of Discovery. Justin is dying on the Jellicoe Hill. Wingray says, I hated Jellicoe when I was younger. Watching back now, I appreciate him much more. That's two people who like Jellicoe. Dreamwalker, see, you're much like me. Dreamwalker says, I never played Star Trek Online or read a single Star Trek novel. So there are a side of the there is a side of the fandom who's all off into all the rest of the things Trek that are not official canon, but many of us aren't. So now we got to tell a story in such a way that, number one, that it speaks to fans of the original Star Trek alpha canon stuff, that it intrigues the people who are in beta canon, and then it also has to speak to people who haven't watched the series at all, that this is their entry point into Star Trek. And I can understand that is a very hard thing to do, to make sure that you, with all of these different audiences, that you are meeting the needs of all of these different people. Yeah. Reinhardt said he loved, I'm sorry, Justice said, same here, Reinhardt. He loves online Trek, but had a few gripes on it, but still loved it. Reinhardt is adding, Tasha, what you described is exactly how Riker and Picard were. Exactly. Yeah. John Luke was not good with the touchy-feely stuff, but Riker was easygoing, quick to give a compliment. He filled in those gaps. And sometimes you just need a person, but you have to be self-aware enough to know this is a flaw. Some people don't see their own flaws. They think that they are perfect and they think that the whole world should be just like them. And if they were to ask, because I'm not one of them people who just goes, I'm not gonna give you no advice if you ain't asked for it. But if you were to ask me, I'd tell you, you need to find somebody. First and foremost, you need to be honest and assess yourself in an honest way. And I think Rayner walked on to Discovery knowing exactly who he was. What he didn't know is how this ship operated. And the ship operates more like a family. And the reason why they operate more like a family is because they are all they got. Think about that. They came from damn near 1,000 years in the past. They came together. So only people that they know there really are them and the friends they've made along the way. So when you enter this ship, it is going to be like a family because these people gave up everything to be there. I get it. I got it. So yeah, Reinhardt, I completely see where that comparison can be made. That Riker and Picard know one another. And they know what the strong suits are, which is why Jellicoe jumping straight to the ship, coming and saying, I need you to change all of this about this ship before you saw how the ship ran under the rules that were set in place by Jean-Luc Picard and Riker together. Jellicoe came on the ship and immediately started saying, I want you to change. We want a 4-shift duty roster and all of this stuff. He wanted everything changed. And he didn't see how things worked first. But anywho, we talked enough about that man. Wengray says the Breen in the novels are much different than this. So I'm excited they went a different way. I like that too. Just like we were talking about X-Men 97 yesterday. And if you guys are in X-Men 97, you should join us on Sundays where we talk about X-Men 97 for a couple hours. That I like the fact that we are kind of seeing that these comic book angles are coming in, but they're not coming in the exact same way that they were laid out in the comics, because if that was the case, then all you have to do is read the comics. It's the same thing I say about the movies. I like the fact that we changed some of the things in the MCU movies, because if I wanted to read the freaking comic book, I'd read the freaking comic book. I want to watch the movie. I don't want to know how it ends. I don't want to see what the same thing happened on the screen that happened in the comic books and all of that. There are people who do feel that way. I'm not one of them. Dreamwalker says, happy to have people who can explain the beta canon. Exactly. You know, the Reinhardt is good at doing that as well. Justin as well, where they will make you 100% aware of how this fit into beta canon, and then whether or not they like where it fits into the main Star Trek canon line, storyline, whatever we call it. Reinhardt says that is telling Justin he's been playing since the beta edition of Star Trek Online came out. That's why I'm glad that Discovery and Strange New Worlds are giving them some love. And yeah, they introduce aspects or stories that can be told to the rest of the audience, the audience that are only consuming the series and movies, or the audience that has not yet consumed anything Star Trek except for Discovery. So I appreciate that that there is another well to pull from. We don't have to continue. You can still be nostalgic. You can still pull from another source, but it doesn't have to be a source that we all know so well. For instance, making that ship that was in that nebula or that wormhole, uh, the ISS Discovery. I mean, sorry, the ISS Enterprise. Yep, I get that you guys want that connection, and I get that the Enterprise set is right there. So when you're filming Discovery, it's a hop, skip, and a jump over to Strange New World set and use the Enterprise. But if you weren't going to capitalize on using the Enterprise, then why even do it? You get what I'm saying? You had the Enterprise there. You could have said, there's Spock Station. That's where my brother used to work. And then find a crew manifest or a photo of Spock or anything, and make sure he had a freaking goatee. Anything to tie this this ship being there into the story, because you would know that she would probably be looking. I'm on the ISS Enterprise. This is the ship my brother worked on. I'm about to look for something, some semblance that my brother is still there, or he had been there. Justice said this Breen kind of threw him off, but I'm giving it a fair chance. Breen were pretty different in novels. I agree. Wingray says, does Rayner have a last name? And if not, should it be Shine? Rain or Shine? Let's see. Does Rayner have a first name? Is his last name Rayner? Does he have a first name? Captain Rayner. Yeah, I gotta look to see. Commander Rayner. That's all it says. Commander Rayner. Commander Rayner. Let me see. Rayner lost his family at a young age. We know that part. Joined the no name. He's just Commander Rayner. Yeah, nothing. Got nothing. It says I like looking at Memory Alpha, because Memory Alpha is like our little Bible. Let me see. But I'm laughing because and I know you guys probably can't see this because it's small, but I'm laughing because it says other relatives, Rayner's family. I'm like, well, you could have just left that off. We don't know we still don't know anything about Rayner more than what we did know. We know that he has a family, but all we know is that they are Rayner's family. So hopefully we get more information on that. I'm really glad that you brought that up. Thanks a lot, Windgrace. Dreamwalker said, yeah, if everyone in this chat were transported 800 years in the future, we'd probably stay close too. Yeah, you guys would turn into my family. Oh, Reinhardt said, oh, Tasha, and they never did adequately cover that in the show. Thank you. Go through time. It only takes a few seconds, but everybody you ever knew and loved is dead, and that's a lot to deal with. Right. That's a big jump, let me see. I'm running through to find the ones. Wingray says Picard season 3 pulled the Enterprise F from online, but changed the service dates and canon, honoring the past but adding its own flair. I like that. Justice says I'm open-minded but passionate on lore also, but I also love fresh takes on everything. Dreamwalker said, do they still have the Enterprise D sitting around somewhere in the 3100s? Probably in that museum, right? When I hear Rayner in a in a space setting, I think of Jim Raynor from the StarCraft game. So maybe you'll call him Jim. We've already had a Jim. Justice said there probably is a whole Enterprise museum. Yep. Wingray said there is a really good part on a Star Trek novel that shows all the time displaced characters in TNG era in a support group. Scotty, Fraser, the trio from the neutral zone. It was a great idea. So yeah, that's something to think about. You know, we've got all this stuff going on, and it's a lot going on. We're now 5 years into Star Trek Discovery. We are 3 years or 3 seasons into being in the past. So, or in the future, I'm sorry. So there's a lot going on, you know. So again, we got references, some of our references to the TOS episode Mirror Mirror. We revisited the ISS Enterprise. We also learned that Dr. Cho hid a clue, potentially referring to former Mirror Mirror officer Marlena Moreau. Dr. Marlena Moreau was a human female scientist who served aboard the USS Enterprise under Captain Kirk in the 23rd century during the iconic 5-year mission. When she first joined the Enterprise crew in 2267, Kirk was momentarily caught off guard upon meeting her, as he had just encountered her counterpart from the Mirror Universe a week prior. This alternate version of Moreau had served as the captain's intimate partner on the ruthless ISS Enterprise. Now, Kirk was confused no, Kirk wasn't confused. Spock was confused. Spock was confused at first at the way Kirk was receiving Moreau, and he realized that the captain was comparing Moreau to her mirror duplicate. And Kirk also explained to Spock that while he hadn't actually met this Moreau before, she seemed like a perfectly nice, likable girl with whom he could become friends. And we know he is famously, notoriously a womanizer. So he's like, well, shoot, I had her on the Mirror Universe ship. I could probably get her on this one. Yeah, Kirk, again, you got to find somebody to fill in your gaps. I think Spock filled in Kirk's gaps perfectly because Spock was not a slave to his he wasn't a slave to his lust like Kirk is. Now, we also know about Dr. Cho that following the discovery of the progenitors in 2369, Cho was one of 6 scientists that was recruited by the Federation president to investigate them. They eventually found a technology used by the progenitors to create life, but then they decided it was too dangerous to risk falling into the wrong hands. It kind of makes me think that I'm wrong about the Iconian stuff, but I'm going to hang out with Iconians. I'm gonna hang out that all of that is all wrapped up and bundled up together, but I could be wrong. So they eventually, I read that part. The group destroyed their research. They erased themselves from all databases to one day guide others to the technology. They created a map to its location that they split into 5 pieces. Now, Cho took the 3rd piece of it and she hid it, along with a clue to the 4th piece within the bulk of the ISS Enterprise, the bulkheads, I guess, where it remained until it was retrieved by Locke and Maul in 3191. Let's see. Do you think Culber is struggling? That is what Marge is asking. I've been asking myself what exactly is going on. I don't know if he's struggling, because he looked like he was excited about the potential of meeting what created us. But he could be struggling. That's another part of the story where I'm not 100% clear what angle we're going with Culber. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not knowing. We can find out next week or the week after or whenever what's really going on with Culber. But let's not drag it out. Tell us what's going on with Culber. We've seen 2 consecutive weeks that Culber, something is gnawing at him. So let us know Let us know what that is. We don't want to be worried about Culver. Mirrors began with that warning for flashing images. This is the second episode that we've seen. I guess trying to keep us from having a seizure or go. You know how some people react very unfavorably to flashing lights. Reinhardt said, "Shoot me the name of that novel because I'd love to read about that. I remember the trio they found who had been cryogenically frozen when they died, and they found the one woman's descendant." Oh, you're talking about that episode of TNG. And you guys are okay. Dreamwalker says, bundling the Iconians with the progenitors, like how Picard bundled the Traveler from TNG with Gary Seven's organization from TOS. I didn't think about it like that, but yeah. Bundle that just like that. As much as the Iconians would be cool, I almost hope it isn't. This is from Wingrace. They're already solving so many Trek mysteries this season. I love having some without answers. That's one way to think about it, too. Dreamwalker said, I don't know why Culber hasn't talked with Adira yet about having someone else in their mind. Was it Gray in Adira's mind for a while? Yeah, for a long while. Till they made her a body. And that is a good point, Marge. Yep. So this episode was dedicated to the loving memory of our friend Alan Red Marceta, the lead set dresser who died in a motorcycle accident in 2022. Presumably, the USS Discovery bar, which is called Reds, was also named in his honor. And this is the first episode where we start off with a personal log from Book with a star date of 866280.9. That's a big ass number. Book was looking at wanted notices for Maul from the Federation, from the Orions or the Emerald Chain, and the Andorian Empire, who is, I guess they are attached to the Orions as well. So I guess if you're looking for somebody in the Emerald Chain, some parts of the Andorian Empire will probably be looking for that person too. Tilly was able to reveal the wormhole by compensating for the Lorentzian coefficient, referencing the real Lorentz factor used in special relativity, why can't I say that word? Special relativity equations. There is a new ensign on Discovery who keeps a Cardassian vole as a pet. So now we got a Tribble, we got a Cardassian vole. What the hell else are y'all gonna have on there? What is the Klingon? What's the Klingon pet that they be having? Starts with a B, right? Somebody knows the answer. Answer that. That's a trivia that I don't know the answer to. So I think I'll know it if I saw the right answer, though. The ISS Enterprise was built at Tartarus Base, possibly referencing Tartarus Prime from the TOS novel, The Rings of Time. So there you guys go. There's one of your mentions of a Targ. Yes, a Klingon Targ. Somebody gonna have a Targ on the ship. Dreamwalker said, I should probably know this, but what does a star date mean anyway? This the way that they derive time, and I don't know what their equation is, but they do it down to like a star date should tell you the day that this thing happened and the time that it happened. 86. So what is this one? 866 280.9. So that 0.9 is like how many parts of the day that it is. And this 866-280 tells us what day that is, but it's not telling me an awful lot of anything. I don't remember if there was a specific equation that answers that question a little bit better than what I'm doing. Reinhardt said again, online gave the Iconians so much love. You travel back 200,000 years to when the Iconian Empire was the greatest power in the galaxy. Wait a minute now. You said 200,000 years. Why is that number jumping out at me? I'm going to look something up real quick. some things you just said there, some you just said sparked something in me, dude. Don't ask me why I'm singing Christmas music. I don't know. Um, Look, I'm looking for progenitor. I don't want the novel. And it's not like telling me where were they called progenitors in. Yeah, I ain't finding what I'm looking for. I'm gonna have to look. Reinhard, you said something there that sparked something in me. Wingray says, if this is the same ISS Enterprise from Mirror Mirror, it should have the Tantalus field still on board, which is part of the reason I hope it's a mirror version from the alternate mirror, uh, Georgia. I hope that's what that was. Was created. It should have the Tantalus field still on board, which is part of the reason I hope it's a mirror version from the alternate mirror Georgia created. I don't know. I'm lost. I don't. I can't figure it out. Tantalus field is OP. I can't find what I'm looking for, and it's gonna bother me. But anywho, so we were talking about Maul, and now Maul refers to the Breens as bucket heads. Reno called the Emerald Chain the people that there was holding them hostage. What they call them, the regulators. She called the regulators. It was no, okay. I'm not gonna start rapping, but she called them bucket heads, and I'm guessing that's like a slur. Shouldn't have allowed that. They shouldn't have allowed her to use that slur. Maul's mother died on Calar 5 in a mine for rubidium, a substance first mentioned in TOS Patterns of Force. Linus can play the piano, y'all. I don't know if we knew that already, or is that just something that I've just figured out? But yeah, Linus can play the piano. We call them Breen Primarchs. I've heard that there are Primarchs in other sci-fi. I think Warhammer 40,000 was one. We didn't see Owo and we didn't see Detmer, but they were mentioned. It was mentioned that they were the ones who were assigned to take the ISS Enterprise back to Starfleet headquarters. And we heard that the ISS Enterprise was missing a intermix chamber. So hopefully we got that fixed, right? Because at some point they're gonna need to go to warp, right? If they're taking it to Starfleet headquarters, they're gonna need to go fast. Anyway, so yeah, those are all the things that I found. Those are all the things that I found. Giorgio made a second mirror universe with Carl last season. She did. Was that last season? Was that the season before last? Your phone won't let you be great. Marge loves Linus, and she bet Owo and Detmer love that assignment. If Owo don't, Detmer does. Dude, yes, I would love that assignment. I don't know if I had anything else. Let me see if I had anything else. We talked about that decoy clue. We talked about it. Is that we talked about that. I didn't talk about this last thing here. Let me go and see what. Oh, well, no, we didn't talk about what Wingray said. Wingray said that his understanding was that she hid something from her uniform, a pip or something that he can't remember, so that when she told Locke and Maul to scan for quantum signatures from our universe, it would register as being prime and not mirror, thus tricking them into thinking it was the real artifact. The locket had pictures from refugees that he believes. Someone told him it was a mirror Michael in it, but he hasn't gone back to check. I haven't either. And Marge said that there is a podcast called The Vulcan Hello. I have not yet listened to it myself, but she said that they have pretty decent content about Star Trek, and that they made a good point about mirrors in their episode, that they wish more had been done with the ISS Enterprise, which I agree, such as maybe a log entry from Terrence Spock or Kirk, or even a portrait of the Emperor Giorgio. I agree. And like Wingray said, they could have replaced the ISS Enterprise with ISS Dakota, and nothing would have changed about the story. So I just think that they had a missed opportunity. And I also think that things were not as well spelled out as I initially thought when I was listening to or watching this episode. And on my regular 5-point scale, I'll give this one a 4 flat. And the reason that, for those reasons, 4 flat for those reasons. Now, we can talk a little bit about the Breen and Marlon Locke's relationship before we get up out of here, because I was not expecting. I thought that they would end up in a relationship. We knew that they would end up in a relationship. I didn't think that it would happen like that. Did she wear him down, or this was who he was from the beginning? And we can see that he's part of the royal family, but he's not thought very highly of in the royal family. They give him kind of grunt work to do. And he again, he doesn't feel like he is particularly, that he belongs to the Breen, not in the same way that phone is ringing. I don't know where that is though. He doesn't feel like he belongs in a way. And I'm glad that they are making him a different kind of Breen. But when we saw the face of the Breen, did anybody else, was it just me who thought, let me see. Was it just me who thought about the stuffed dinosaurs? Was it just me who thought about the freaking progenitors? His face, definitely, I can't find the picture. Nope, that's the one with the mask on. I don't know where his mask off picture went. Silly me. Where did that picture go? Could have sworn I had another picture of him with the mask off, but possibly didn't. So yeah, I don't know what I was saying. I lost my train of thought. Marge is giving this 4 out of 5 stuffed dinosaurs. Justin is giving it 4.2 out of 5 for him, for an interesting episode. So 4 from me, 4 from 5, 4 out of 5 from Marge. Anybody else got any idea of what they would give this? What they would give this if they had to rate it out of 5? I don't have anything else. And I don't have any Star Trek tonight with Clarence and them. So I guess that means I can call it a night a little earlier, huh? I can call it a night a little earlier, and I don't mind doing that. I'm a little tired today. So with all that being said, I don't know if I have anything else, if there's anything I overlooked. If I did, put it in the comments. Oh, Marge, thank you for being here. You guys provided the chat today. Dreamwalker is going 4-1. So we're me and Marge are saying 4. And then it just incrementally gets better. 4.1 from Dreamwalker, 4.2 from Justin. What in the world is this? 4.1701. Oh, thank you for being here, Dreamwalker. Thanks for coming. Dreamwalker, Wingrace, Marge, Justin, Reinhardt, Clarence, Thomas. Was that it? Lysandra. That's it. all of you guys came and hung out with me, spent part of your day with me, and I appreciate it. I cannot wait until we get this next episode. We got to move. We got to get to the meat and potatoes. I need to see what the next episode. Does anybody know the title? I thought I knew it was whispering something. What was it? I could be just really tripping. Really tripping. But let me see. Star Trek Discovery season. You gotta teach 4 kids math today. Bless your heart. I couldn't teach 1 kid math. I might be able to catch you on some other subject, but math, I don't think I can do it. You are doing the Lord's work, sir. Let me see. Where's Discovery at? Anybody know the name of the next episode? Because I'm drawing True to Life blank here. Season 5. Let's just go to it here. Next episode, Whistle Speak. That's the name of it. Whistle Speak. So see y'all after Whistle Speak. It's been fun. I appreciate you for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Live long and prosper. Peace.